I'm from Queens.
How you doing? What's up? You want some coffee? You need that?
It's cold here, Amanda. It's
I hear
cold.
that.
Maybe
Amazing.
it's
Wow.
not. Yeah.
You have New York. Where else, guys? Who else is here that's from a different area and is new to us here? Anybody else? I see Atlanta. Atlanta. All right, guys. So if there's no one else, we're gonna get started. All right, guys. Well, welcome, guys. Welcome to our Atlanta, the South Studio.
Yeah. Yes. Do you want to do a little bit of housekeeping, Pat, before we get started? And I'll put the podcast for Pat Split, Judy. I'll put it here in the chat. Let me find it.
So, guys, for those of you that are new with us, we do have a Atlanta community, Zoom, not Zoom, sorry, we are in the Zoom, the Facebook page. So it's Atlanta subject to, spelled out, it's not subject to, it's subject to community. So if you guys would love to join us in our Atlanta community page, we do a lot of wholesaling there. There's a lot of properties that we kind of post there and daily activities. We also now, yes, Chris.
Yeah, I was gonna. Don't forget the co-living. We create a new group called co-living, ran by the room. I'll put everything here. So that's gonna be for people that are investors that are interested. Anything about co-living, that's gonna be the property for you. I mean, the community for you guys. And we're gonna start coming up with more things. You know, we just had the page started, but we have some great ideas of things to bring to you guys. But yes, so go in there, ask questions. Let's keep it as vibrant as the Atlanta subject to community. So
Yes, please join us. Great stuff is going to come to there. We also have our live meetup every single month, and that's going to be coming up the second Tuesday of the month. This one that we're going to have coming up the next month, which is the next only a few days from now, it's going to be in the Roswell area. So we haven't got the locations down yet, but it's going to be in the Roswell area. So that's going to be our live meetup the second Tuesday of every month. Of course, our Zoom, you guys are in here now. Welcome. It's every Friday at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And anything else that I missed? Actually, we're actually going to be having a co-living tour. So Chris and I are putting together a co-living tour. Chris is going to put the link on there, right, Chris? So the co-living tour, we're going to tour our two of our properties that we have. So, and this is going to be, I'm going to call it the co-living or Pass Split Plus. So these are going to be very nice high-end properties. It's going to, I think, Chris is creating something, not your, what I call it, the slumlord version of it, right? This is going to be very nice properties that she has created a niche for that is for co-living, so which is amazing.
No, I don't like when you say luxury, high end. It's not none of that, guys. The only thing that I think, like, I like the little details. I like to put some art, and offer a few little things. But that's all. And like I'm all about the visual. I paint the doors a different color, just so yeah. But that's it. Yes. It's a
It's
little
not.
bit different. Most investors, they just want to put the rooms there and, yeah, it's just a different approach. But with the tour, if you guys are interested, we are taking our time. We're going to be dissecting some of the numbers. One of the properties we bought as the SCR was a fix and flip, and then we get into a cash out the SCR. And the second one was a sub two. So we're going to be telling you guys our numbers and stuff like that. So it's going to be a really good, 3 hours of your Saturday to just come out and meet other investors, ask any questions. Because for me, I can keep going on and on, but for me, like the first time that I walk through existing co-living, a lot of my anxiety went away, right? Because I was like, oh my gosh, what people gonna do with my properties? Is people gonna really rent properties by the rooms? What kind of people are those? So when I walk into a property and saw our operator, saw the rooms, there's, and I was like, wow, I really want to do this. So for me, it helped me a lot. So I want to offer for people that are there, that are thinking about it, come on out, meet with all the investors. So,
And
I'll put the link in there.
thank you. All right, guys. So with that being said, all right, I think we've introduced some new people, and we have a packed house today. We almost have 60 people this morning, which is amazing, guys. Thank you for all the support. We're going to bring in our partner, and our favorite attorney in Atlanta here. So Melanie, welcome. Chris,
Good morning.
by the way,
Good morning, everyone.
good
So
morning.
I got a
Hi.
question for everybody. How many people started out their careers as a real estate investor? Started that way?
No.
Yeah. Basically, I see one person. You know, I did not start out as a closing attorney. I started out my career as a real estate developer in Atlanta with a family business. And so I have been in all aspects of real estate. Um, so the next question that I have for you, I know there's a bunch of people in here that are not from Georgia. Um, did you know that in Georgia for closings, you have to use a closing attorney? Georgia is a little different that way. So if you didn't know that already, I just wanted to make sure that everybody knew that for closings that you need to use a closing attorney,
No,
especially if, huh?
no, I was going to ask you the dumb question because I can tell the difference who is and not, right? They're like, oh, which title company are you using? So what is the difference between a title company and a closing attorney in Georgia to close, right? So is there two separate things or is it in the same?
I am the title company as well as the closing attorney. So Georgia is a little different that way. I know that a lot of people are used to going to a title company. You may not even have to appear or you don't go at the same time or whatever. We like to do things in Georgia with everybody at the table together. Frankly, it rarely happens that way, but that is what we like to do. And I do represent the title insurance company. So I am both here in Georgia. And another thing that y'all may not understand is though that I am the closing attorney, and you would think that I'd be the one that actually makes decisions on things. I'm not. The underwriter for the title insurance company is who controls everything. So if there is a question about a procedure or a title issue, I have to run it by the underwriter and get underwriter approval on everything I do because I don't get to make any of the rules anymore. That is a relatively new thing because I've been doing this for 30 years now, just turned 30 years.
Wow.
That does make me kind of old. But anyway, so it has changed just a little bit since I started with this. Um, and I heard somebody say that you've got you need to have some properties. One of the things that my firm offers is we have a list that we send out so that if you have a property that you need a buyer for, you can send it to me and we publish it out to all of our list. And usually it'll get picked up because my list is investors looking for other deals. So if you'd like to be on that list, I will post my email address down here so that you can email me to get put on the list. Just say I want on your list. And and also if you want to close with me, for everybody that's listening here today, if you'll say, you know, I want to close with you, I will give you a $500 credit on the next closing that you do with me as well. So, Pat, is there any specific things well, let me just say one more thing about with all the out-of-state people. If you're doing business in Georgia and you do not have a Georgia company or you have not registered your company within Georgia, then the state of Georgia goes, give me my money. And so they're going to collect 3%. 3%. It is best if you're going to do business in Georgia that you register your LLC or your company, whatever it is, in Georgia as a foreign entity doing business in Georgia, because Georgia really does want their money. And so I hate having to collect money and send it to Georgia when there would have been a way around that. So that's another thing that I just wanted to put out there since so many of you are not from Georgia.
Okay, that's LLC, right? Your LLC, LLP, any company that's registered in Georgia.
Or an INC, yes. Any of those, not so many people use an INC anymore, but but yeah, so if you can set up your LLC anywhere you want to. We got a lot in Wyoming and different places. But if you do that, you just need to register it as a foreign entity here in Georgia with the Secretary of State.
Okay, good. That's great information. Awesome. Well, guys, so for this particular one, Melanie, I kind of wanted to keep it kind of like a questionnaire, right? We can go back and forth, different angles of Georgia real estate law, closing, real estate, anything that has to do with real estate. So, I mean, thank you so much for coming on. I think we're going to have tons of questions and scenarios that we can kind of go through. So I wanted to see Chris or anybody else, guys, like, what do you guys have any questions when it comes to, and a lot of people that are on here, if they are out of states because they want to invest in Georgia, right? They want to buy real estate. They want to invest in Georgia, in Atlanta or the Georgia area, which is amazing. So I just want, first off, is there anybody that want to raise their hand? Anybody have any question when it comes to any situation that may have happened? I know that, Melanie, you and I have talked about situations that I can tell a story, kind of bring it up so people kind of have an idea. But I just want to give people, first off, to see if they have any questions when it comes to Georgia law and real estate law. Yeah, I know you guys will have questions eventually, but I think right now, is anybody here? I think some people are reading. I'm reading some of the.
I have a question. I'm sorry, I didn't get her name. You said you have a list of investors. So I'm assuming, and I don't want to make any, no, I'm asking. You're able to facilitate our double closes and transactional funding?
Absolutely. Double
Okay.
closes, it could be double, triple, whatever. Sometimes it goes on down the line. I could do it as assignments. I can do novations, pass-through funding. I can do that. Now, one caveat on the pass-through funding, if your end buyer is a cash buyer, no problems at all. If your end buyer has a lender, I have to get approval from that lender for pass-through funding. And if the lender says no, that's when we have to use the transactional funding, which, yes, I can assist with the transactional funding as well.
When you say pass through, are you talking about double closing? What do you mean exactly?
Yeah, that's
Okay. Good
Okay.
question.
To them a little bit more in details of what that.
Good question. So pass-through funding is when you're using the end buyer's money to do your purpose on the A to B.
Okay.
So we're passing that money through. And so we do that a lot. It saves you money from not having to do the transactional funding.
Okay.
Somebody asked if I can handle probate and then close at the same time. I personally, I do not do probate. I refer that out. So, and is probate needed? That is, it depends kind of question. If the deceased has been dead for longer than 2 years, then we can do that as a using an affidavit of descent and avoid the probate. But so that one we would just have to see on that one. But I do not do personally the probate.
Guys, there's a few people that typed a couple questions. Guys, I just want to say for this one, can you guys raise your hand and actually ask the question on the platform? If you can, please, that would be just a little bit, because I think when people start asking, we're going to have like a lot of questions just on the communication there. But if we can just take turns to kind of come onto the platform, ask the questions, so that way we can kind of explain a little bit better and help everyone else out. There was one on there that says a blind. Do you do blind HUDs?
Blind HUDs.
Okay, can you explain what blind HUDs means?
Yes. Okay, so a blind HUD is when you're just giving the number, you're just giving the buyer their side of the numbers, or the seller, which is what you're really talking about, the seller, their side of the numbers. They don't get to see the other side.
Okay.
Yes and no. For the first time when we're getting ready and everybody wants to see something, yes, I can do a blind HUD. So I can send the seller just their side. But frankly, when it comes down to the end, they are going to see both sides. And it may not be until it's funding, but they will eventually see the buyer's side as well, because we have to have an ALTA. That's what it's called. And it has both the buyer side and the seller side on it. So that will go out in the end.
Then we had a hand raised there. Did he unraise his hand? Joey, are you still there?
I'm good. I do about 20 deals a month in Atlanta. I was just asking all those questions, so I wanted to know what she can and can't do.
Okay. Okay. Perfect. Perfect. Okay. Thank you, Joey. All right. Was there anybody else that had any further questions? I know we had a couple of things on the thing there. Melanie, what do you see that has been in for this? We all talk about the first quarter and then coming up this year. How has this year been? What have you seen in terms of just the trends in the closing attorney world? Like, is there, whether it's wholesaling, whether it's fix and flippers, I don't know. What trends have you seen lately?
So I would say probably about 90% of my business is with investors. I am generally doing, I'm either doing sub-twos or I'm doing assignments at the moment. That seems to be what the trend is right this minute. I have gotten lots and lots. The title orders are coming in pretty fast and heavy, which is excellent. Love that. But seems to be that lenders are taking their sweet time on getting things ready to close. So everything keeps pushing and pushing. I've had some deals that have been, they're changing lenders and changing lenders and changing lenders because I don't know if the lender's not ready, they don't like the terms, whatever it is, and we have to prepare it again and again and again. But I know eventually they'll close if the seller doesn't walk away before it gets ready.
Poor seller.
Yes.
Yes.
Daniel?
I also do a lot, like right now we're at the end of the month, we're always really busy. And a typical, I would call it a vanilla closing. That makes sense. People don't want to start their interest or whatever. But in our case, we're busy because it's a lot of pre-foreclosures. So we got to get it closed and funded before foreclosure sale is the first Tuesday in Georgia. First Tuesday of the month is the foreclosure sales. And so we're always trying to get those done and funded to keep it from out of foreclosure.
So that's a great point. Before I bring on Daniel with foreclosure or pre-foreclosure, guys, Melanie is doing tons of those. I know people always have 10,000 questions. So yes, you need any help in that, she's the person to go. Just kind of keep that in mind, especially the pre-foreclosure. I did read on a I think it was last night that there should be more foreclosures coming on, right? There should be more foreclosures. I think on the article it said that it seems like, and maybe a conspiracy theory, I know those things, it pops up on kind of different articles, and I don't know what's real news or fake news anymore, but they're saying that the Biden administration held a lot of the pre-foreclosures. They were paying down. I don't know, and again, I don't know. I'm not getting politics. I don't care, but they're saying that they're going to start foreclosing a lot more on property, so there should be more deals that are popping. From an investor standpoint, I'm like, that's an interesting topic or article. So I don't know. That's what I read, and we more in terms of pre-foreclosure foreclosures. So yeah, I'm sure you can probably tell us from firsthand if that.
I don't know if they're, but like we just got one this week that the person hadn't made a payment in over 2 years. And I'm like, seriously? Why weren't they foreclosed on before now? So, and there was a lot of equity in the property too. So I don't understand what makes lenders decide when or if they're going to foreclose or not. But that also makes it right for the sub-twos. We can do a reinstatement and then you just take over the payments from there. So because some of these loans have, 3% interest rates or 4% interest rates. And so, it's a good thing to take over those payments at that time.
and we're missing out. If we don't get it, guys, investors, we're missing out. So
Daniel has a question. Hey, Daniel.
Hey guys, good morning. Hey Melanie. I may sound naive here, but so last year I only closed using Sub2 as an acquisition strategy, and last one it was actually with you back in December. But I quite often catch myself asking about the legalities of Sub2, right? Is it legal? Is it not? Is it illegal? And you know, and when someone asks me, a potential Sub2 buyer or a potential Sub2 seller asks me about the legality of it, my go-to answer is usually saying, you know, everything is backed up by a real estate attorney. It's stamped by a real estate attorney. And so my question to you is, in addition to that, what would you recommend me saying as an answer, or to even ease myself on the legalities of Sub2? And when does a Sub2 acquisition becomes illegal, if that's even a thing?
It's the correct term. It's not illegal. It could be unenforceable if it got down to it, but illegal is not really the right term. But the issue obviously is that there is a due on sale clause in the person's note, more than likely. And so we're doing a transfer, and you know, and there was a due on sale clause. So technically we're supposed to pay off that loan. So that is where the issue arises. So it is a, I don't know what's the correct word, but there is risk on both sides. The risk on the seller is that, well, it's really for both. If the lender finds out and they want to, they could technically call the note. Okay, so where does that leave you as the buyer? It leaves you as the buyer being that you're going to either have to refinance or sell that property pretty quickly to be able to keep the property. So there is that risk. The seller's risk is that you're not going to make the payments. And then what happens to them? It goes on their credit, right? So they have a credit risk. But if you do make the payments on time, you're helping their credit. And that's a beautiful thing. Normally, the lender is not going to do anything because you're making the payments and it's on time. Okay. But if you get behind, that's where the lender starts looking at things. And when they start looking at things, as in they're doing pre-foreclosure and they pull title, because they're always going to pull title in a foreclosure situation. They're going to see that there was a transfer, and that's where they're going to call the note then. So there is risk and a Sub2.
Have you been involved in a situation where the due on sale was invoked and you had to be involved again on that transaction?
Never. And I've done it for years now.
Well, thank you very much.
And again, let me just emphasize, it's not to say that it couldn't happen, because it can. Okay. But no, I haven't. Only one time in my 30 years have I seen a lender call the note, and it was not in a Sub2 situation. We were doing a closing, and the wife, it was a regular vanilla closing. The wife changed jobs. Y'all know that that's a big, huge no. She had a new job. She was making more money.
Wow.
But when the lender, at closing, they always go back and check to see if everything's still the same as what it was when you did your application. And they found that she had changed jobs. The lender called the note. We ended up having to refi it. But that is the only time in my 30-year history that I've ever seen anybody call a note.
And that is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard.
It was crazy. It was really crazy, but
But
it
that's the
happened.
conventional lenders, right? And I
I
tell, because I used to do loans for primary, and I always tell them, because they don't think. I'm like, now we're starting your loan, we're gonna send you the underwriter. Don't buy anything. Don't buy anything. Like people go buy cars, like, no, wait until it's all go through. And the same applies to job. You never change anything that's a red flag. They are not gonna allow the loan to go through. So
You would think that as I've been doing this for so long, that my family would know that. But my son and daughter-in-law, my daughter-in-law changed jobs in the middle of it, and it cost
yeah,
them. They
yeah,
had to do
people
a
don't,
double move. They had to put
yeah,
all their furniture in storage and all, and wait until she had the history with the new job. And so it was a real hassle because they broke the rules.
yeah.
But but what happened in the case of this was, that I'm sure that the lender couldn't sell their loan without all of that underwriting being documented. And when it wasn't documented, then they had to just call it and refi it. So they refied it with the same. It was the same lender. But anyway, but
That's
there is a risk. Okay, don't get me wrong. There is.
that's insane. That's crazy that has happened. Um, Guys, so as we to just some a few things, I guess. Melanie, we told you you and I talked and we told you kind of the story, just kind of as thinking. So for those of us that do wholesaling here, there was a deal that we had that a wholesaler bought, and this deal, as it was going under contract, it was the wholesaler was selling a deal from a power of attorney, right? So I just want to bring that up a little bit. So the power of attorney had the wholesale deal, which he assigned it to his son, and his son was trying to sell the deal. And at closing, or as we're going through the title and as we're getting ready to close, the attorney went to the hospital bed to the man. The man had dementia, right? So when we went there to do the closing, he wasn't in the right state of mind. So and these, I think I've seen it quite a few times, and I've seen it time and time again. But just for us who do, as we're buying sub two deals, we're buying from wholesalers, we're buying from different angles. It's just those things where we have to be very, very careful. So this deal, the seller and the wholesaler was trying to get us to move attorneys to sell it to somebody else, but when the attorney went, he wasn't in the right state of mind. So that's something that's very, very important, because we get to these funky deals, and this is why having an attorney like Melanie is very important. These things happen all the time, and it's just like, if we're not careful. And for me, I've done enough where wholesalers and sellers want to close the deal as fast as possible, and they want to move from this attorney to that attorney to that attorney. So what is, Melanie, when it comes to that, like,
Buenos días.
what is your opinion on that? Because I just think that, I know you and I talked, that if it's power of attorney, like, tell me, like, how easy it is for power of attorney, because I've seen a power of attorney can be anything, right? Like, anybody can have a power of attorney.
Okay, so yeah, two things I'd like to address there. First of all, the moving from attorneys to attorneys, like I've seen some names mentioned in the notes over here. All of us attorneys that do investor deals, we all know each other. We're all linked. We all email each other. And if something is going weird like that, we put out an email to everybody. So we're on the lookout for it. So don't think that you're going to pull something over on an attorney by changing attorneys, because we talk to each other. We really do. Now, about power of attorneys, there are two types of power of attorneys here. In Georgia, our underwriters want us to use a specific power of attorney. Specific being specific to this transaction. We spell out what the property is, if there are terms or whatever. It is a specific power of attorney. Okay. To use a power of attorney, yes, you have to be of sound mind, and you have to be alive. Okay, that's a big deal. You have to be alive. So at a closing, I always have to do an alive and well call. I have to check to make sure that the person that signed the power of attorney is still alive and well. Yes, they have to be in their right mind. If not, they will have to go to court. The court will appoint a guardian ad litem. or conservatorship or whatever. Anyway, the court gets involved and they will have to make sure that the best interests are at heart with this, whoever it is, the seller or the buyer, this person. So there is also a statutory power of attorney that a lot of people use. It could be downloaded. It is a statutory power of attorney for Georgia. Anybody can download a statutory power of attorney. It's usually a part of your will and all when you get a will done. But a statutory power of attorney does cover a lot of things, and it covers if you have dementia. Again, it's no good if you're dead, but it does cover the dementia aspect, or unable to sign for whatever reason. But in using a statutory power of attorney, the underwriter requires that I get a note from the doctor saying why that statutory power of attorney is being used. So if a person is, got dementia or whatever, I got to have the doctor write that this person has dementia. And that's why we're using the statutory power of attorney. So I know that that's what the statutory power of attorney was made for. But again, because in Georgia we're required to use specific power of attorneys, that's why the underwriters, they want to look behind, why are you using that?
And that stuff is very important because as someone from me who deals with a lot of wholesalers, like the profits we get, whether they're creative or whether they're just cash deals, I find myself getting into these properties that is like either it's a probate or it has something to do with somebody who is either in the hospital or doesn't, who's dementia, or someone who's out, and it's always like a grandson or a cousin or somebody that's getting these properties, because these are like, I find myself, and those of you that follow me on social media, I always go into these houses that are just like, it's full of furniture. It's somebody who has, hoarders, right? But they're the good deals. That's what the juicy deals are.
Yes.
And this is the reason why, this came up, because time and time again, I'm like, okay, and these wholesalers or the seller is pushing so fast to close this deal, and they want to close in 2 weeks, and they
No,
want
but
to
that's the son, right? That wanted to push even after, because we've
no,
been waiting for 3 weeks to finally close on that deal, Pat, right? We're talking about the fix to flip, right? The
yeah,
East Lake.
yeah.
And then they finally the attorney you gotta tell this is, I never gone through this before, guys, but the seller was a Grady, right? Our closing attorney, because he didn't want to, he knows wholesalers, right? So he's like, okay, I'm gonna go in there in person, which it's amazing. So he went in there, and he said, no, we're not doing this. And then he got with the family to explain what they need to do. But even after the fact, it seems like they want to, right, Pat, like just bad deal.
I mean, just again, it's more of a scam than it is anything, guys. But
Yeah, they want us to change closing attorney. I'm like, I'm not doing this to anybody, guys. Like, seriously, I'm not here to. It's crazy.
as you do more deals and you see these things. It's just,
Yes.
I want to put out there is, guys, just be careful. Like these things happen, right? And it's just one of those things. And Melanie can attest to this. Like, okay, so even if what happens,
You can't hear you, Pat.
We lost you.
Yeah, we lost you for a second.
sorry, no, I say in these kind of cases, even if they close a deal, the aftermath to it, right? So
Exactly.
what about the grand? Someone say, hey, this is my property. After we've already rehabbed it, we've already fixed it, and we try to sell it, that could be a big legal mess.
Absolutely. And the same thing with estates, where we're talking about the probate stuff with the estates. And another thing about the estates is that if you're bringing the seller to the table, you need to make sure that they understand that I'm not writing a check to a person in that case. If it's an estate that's transferring the title, I am going to be giving the money to an estate. And that has caused a lot of problems because when they don't realize that the estate needs to have a bank account. So if you can just go ahead and prepare people for that, and let them know, go ahead and get a bank account for the estate, then that makes things much easier.
That makes a lot of sense, yeah, because we don't think about those things, especially when it comes to probates and things.
Pat, I have a quick question. Hold on one second.
Yeah.
For Melanie, in reference to that comment about the estate. So I have a seller who has been told that they are the executor of the estate, and I understand all of that about the estate and the check being written to the estate. They're also being told that each heir has to sign off, even though they're the executor. And this
I don't really understand that. I would have to see what that title looked like. If you were doing, remember I said that sometimes if the deceased were dead for over 2 years, you can use an affidavit of descent. On an affidavit of descent, we would need every heir to sign off. And that is the one time well, there's a couple of other times, but to use a quitclaim deed. Okay, so okay, that's another thing I want to let y'all know. Please don't use quitclaim deeds. And that is a QUIT, not QUICK, a quitclaim deed. Just get it out of your vocabulary. We don't use those here. They're not insurable. Quitclaim deeds are for cleanup things like estates. But if there is an executor appointed already by the court, then I'm not sure why all the heirs were having to sign off on that one. Again, I'd have to see what that title looked like to see what happened there.
Okay, yeah, that's my question. Thanks.
Thank you, Claudette.
I'm sorry about that, guys.
No, I think
I'm
Doug.
cutting the line. I'm cutting the line. Sorry.
Okay, good. Doug had a question.
Hey, so Melanie, quick question about the quitclaim deeds, because it threw a mental red flag to me as a Gator lender in the community, and I did a second position lien for someone. So when they went and sold their flip off, I released the lien, but the closing attorney on the exit used a quitclaim
That
for
would be
my.
correct. That is one of
Okay.
the reasons of using a quitclaim deed. Yes, is on a release.
Okay.
Generally, I would have had them sign a release, but quitclaim deeds work effectively there. You would use a
Okay,
quitclaim deed like if there was a divorce situation,
Yeah.
or but again, that's a cleanup thing. It's not a transfer of title. That's where we don't
I
want
see
to
your
use a
point.
quitclaim deed.
Yeah, it makes
Yeah.
sense.
Great.
Oh.
Thank you, because I kept thinking I just need to go back and make this lawyer take a different document from me.
No, that
to
works. That
fix it.
works just fine.
Thank you.
My question is on the same topic, because as soon as you started talking about quitclaim, similarly to Doug, a red flag came to my mind. A couple of years ago, I bought a property, an investment property, conventional. Well, let me turn my camera on so you can look in my eyes.
Thank you.
Yeah, I bought the house using a conventional loan, and I bought it on my name. I did not buy it on my LLC. And I wanted to take that and change to my LLC, so to add some sort of layer of protection. And you can tell me if this even adds layer of protection to my, personal stuff. And I was told that the process was to use a quitclaim. So the house is transferred to my name as long as the lender approves. Otherwise, they would be entitled to call the due on sale clause as well. So I wanted you to comment on that if I'm making sense at all to you.
I'm very happy that you brought that up. So in transferring, if you buy a property in your personal name and you transfer it to an LLC, first of all, it's going to void your title policy. Okay, that's the number one thing. That's why I would suggest that you use a trust. A trust does not void the title policy then. Doing it by a quitclaim deed, that's still a no-no in my opinion. I would have still done it by a limited warranty deed. There was no reason for you to quitclaim it. I mean, you already owned it, so transferring to yourself and what you're saying, let me back up a little bit. There are, let's see, 3-4 ways of transferring title. There's a general warranty deed. And what a general warranty deed says that I'm transferring to you and I guarantee that the title is good forever in the background for everything behind me. I'm going to guarantee that title is good. Now in Georgia, at least with our GAR contracts, which is the Georgia Association of Realtors, our GAR contracts, the standard became a limited warranty deed. And what a limited warranty deed says is that I'm going to guarantee that the title is good from the time that I took title. I'm not going to tell you that it's good behind me. I'm just going to tell you that it's good from when I took title, it was good. A quitclaim deed says, I'm not guaranteeing you that I have any title to the property, but whatever interest that I may have had, I'm going to release to you. So I'm out of the picture now, if any, but they may not have had any interest. And that happens in a divorce situation. If the husband was on title, but the divorce decree said that the wife had to get paid $20,000 out of the closing, but she was never on title, we're going to have her sign a quitclaim deed, and it's releasing her interest that she may have had by the divorce decree. Okay, but she never had any interest in title, but that's why you use a quitclaim deed. Okay, so everybody understands that. So the title insurance companies, they demand warranty deeds, not quitclaim deeds. And another thing that I'd like to say about that is, I know that a lot of investors will do what we call tabletop closings. They'll go to the person's house, especially when it's in a foreclosure situation or even in a sub-2 situation. I've seen that they'll go to people's house and get them to sign a quitclaim deed. Don't do that, please.
Wow.
Please don't do that. I will help you. We will, but it needs to be in the presence of an attorney, so that I can know, is the person of sound mind? Is it the right person? It puts it on me then. I'm the one that's supposed to be making sure that everything is good, clear, clean, and that there's not going to be any problems with the title. And I'm the one that's issuing the title policy, which is why I need to know that everything is good.
I think that's the most important thing you've said this whole Zoom is the quitclaim deed. That, guys, that's going to save you guys hundreds and hundreds of $1,000s if you make that mistake. Because I thought so too. I thought quitclaim deed was that simple and easy. So it's not. Oh my gosh! Wow, that is very valuable information there.
I mean, I've had to go back and get people to re-sign because the title insurance companies just don't want it. And so we have to go back, find them again, and get them to sign. They're not so happy about signing this time, right? What are they getting out of this? And so sometimes the person has had to pay them another whatever to get them to sign another deed. So just do it right the first time.
That makes complete sense. Hey, Tisha.
Hey, okay, you just triggered my mind. So I have two properties, recently divorced. Did get the quitclaim in my name for the divorce, but now I've refinanced them in my LLC name. And what I just heard you say is because of that, and it's a single member LLC held by a holding company. But am I to understand that I don't have owner's title insurance anymore?
You understood that correctly. Yes,
So
ma'am.
what do I do to fix it? Is there a way to fix it?
You can buy another policy.
How long from closing do I buy another policy?
You usually have 4 weeks.
Well, here's what I'll tell you. The properties that I have, I've had them for over 15 years. So do you think I still need a policy after all that time?
Well, you did a refinance again, and so
Uh-oh.
You froze.
Yeah.
Yeah, Melanie?
Just give her a few moments, guys. I think it's just she's in her office there.
Yeah.
Or just give her a few moments to come back.
Is she back?
Not yet. And then
Okay.
Jabari.
She's back. She's back,
She's
at
back.
least.
Okay.
Yeah. Hey,
Okay.
Melanie.
No, I don't see it yet.
She's back on a Zoom, but maybe her audio is
I think she's fixing it. So.
yeah.
Guys, what do you think so far? How is this? I know now you guys are opening a can of worms of questions, right? Everything's coming up with different.
It's not, it's not very often we get to just sit and, be able to, ask questions of an attorney. So I really appreciate, this this,
Yeah,
just being able to ask the questions. So thank you guys so much.
and your questions, like everybody questions, help everybody's, to kind of make sense.
Yeah.
Okay, am I back now?
Who's
You're back.
ah,
Okay,
yay!
We
okay.
don't see you, but we can hear you.
You don't see me. You
No.
should be able to see me too. Okay, I'm sorry. All right, tell me
Ah,
again what the
yeah, there
question
you
is.
are.
Oh,
There you are.
okay. So I said when, but you did a refinance, right? Was it done with a closing attorney?
It was, yes.
Okay. If they didn't find any issues the second time around, you're probably good. Okay, you're
Okay.
rolling the dice here, but you're probably good.
Okay.
So if something were to happen, don't come back and sue me for that. I have had people that knew that they were going to be transferring into an LLC. They had wanted to close in the LLC, but it didn't get established in time, that kind of thing.
Mhm.
If I know ahead, possibly I can beg and plead and get the underwriter to allow me to do an endorsement to add on their LLC if that's right after closing. But most of the time they'll just have to get a new policy, and everybody is aware of that.
Well, I just closed on one on Tuesday, so it's just helping me. Should I call them back and say, hey, they didn't even ask me if I wanted an owner's title policy. So I will call the attorney back saying, this is what I understood. What do we do about it?
So when you closed on Tuesday, was that a refi or purchase?
It was a refi. Both of them are refis. But
Okay.
they were refied from, well, no, because I owned them free and clear. So I did cash out. One I'm going to do a fix up. The other one I just cashed out, some cash out. So
You could ask them the cost of it, but again, I don't know how long you've owned those, but it sounds like, again, you've done 2 closings now that, if there was an issue, it probably would have shown up by now.
Okay. So you're thinking, and I just want to clarify, you're thinking because of the length of time that I've owned the properties and nothing came up on the title search for the lender, I probably should be good.
That's correct.
Okay.
I mean, unfortunately, in the business that we're in, and the people that we're dealing with, the back chains are messy. That's what we call the title, and going back is called a back chain. They're ugly.
Okay. Okay.
So we're usually having to get the seller to sign some affidavits and stuff. They're just, so in those cases, those things, because like, for instance, when we did all the refis back in the refi boom, releases were not necessarily recorded. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, but because of the age that they are, maybe they were already, the maturity date is passed. We can get an underwriter to what's called write over that. It doesn't change the fact that it's there. It's never going to go away. But now your title policy is protecting you from that. So, so that's why all of us attorneys were going, it depends. It depends on what that title looked like.
Right.
Was there something that the title insurance company was having to write over? I don't know.
Okay. Thank you.
We have another question. Jabaris?
Hello, how we doing?
Hi.
Hey, I don't have my camera on. My camera is not working, so I don't have it on. I have a question concerning quick claim deeds on how to get a property closed, if there's a way to get a property closed. So I have a property that I was working on where the seller that I was dealing with bought it from the previous seller, but what they didn't do it correctly. Instead of having title pulled and stuff like that, doing a regular closing like how they should have, the buyer at the time, who is now the seller, him and the seller did a quick claim deed, which wasn't done correctly, I don't think. And of course, he gave the seller all of this money, and they went downtown to Fulton County and got it recorded. So, they had issues and stuff, long story. So the buyer who is the seller now decides he wants to sell the property. So we was going to buy the property and stuff like that once we put it on the contract with him. But when my attorneys ran title, they say, there's a lot of issues here. They was like, the guy that you bought it from, I mean, the guy that bought the property, he didn't do a title search. He was like, because the person he bought it from, her name is still on it, her son name is on it, and her mother name is on it. So for him to have clear title, he's going to have their names removed, and a quit claim deed is going to have to be done, but done the correct
No.
way this time. Now, I want to know if there's a way to get this deal closed, because the seller can't get the other seller and her family members to do the quit claim deed, and he's offering them money, and they won't take the money. They're just leaving everything in limbo. So, is there a way to get this property sold with everybody's name still on it, even if the current seller sells it at a discounted price?
No. No. And please don't say quitclaim deeds again. I mean, if these heirs need to sign off with a warranty deed, not a quitclaim deed. And this is that what you just described that happened that's what I call a tabletop closing. You didn't have an attorney involved. You didn't pull title. You didn't know what was there, and now you're stuck with it. That's what you don't want to happen. That's exactly what you don't want to happen. And these cases. Okay, and my assistant's going, and by the way, when in doing that, because there's a gap, we can't use their title insurance policy if they had one, that your previous seller's title insurance policy, because it's now ended. As soon as you sell the property or one person comes off, or even just one person comes off, that title policy is voided. So it's no longer any good. So we can't use it to clean up title either. So if those people don't sign, you're out of luck. You can go to court and force a partition sale. You can, in this case, a quiet title wouldn't work, but it involves now going to court. So that is exactly why you don't want to do it that way.
Gotcha. That's what I kind of figured too, that he was going to have to petition the three family members to court to get them to sign to get them to take their names off. But I was just checking just to make sure that there was no other way for this to be done. I was kind of figuring that, because I thought about a quiet title as well, and I was hoping that maybe
quiet title will work in this case. I just don't think so. I think you're going to have to go to court for a petition action. So yes.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much.
Mm-hmm.
One last question, if I can. One last
Mm-hmm.
question. On a pre-foreclosure, if someone is staying in the property, but they're not the owner of the property, is there anything that they can do to stop the foreclosure since they're living in it? Say if they filed bankruptcy or anything, would the tenant's bankruptcy stop the foreclosure of the owner since they're living in the property, or will it still? Okay.
No.
Okay. That's it for me.
Mm-hmm.
God, this has been amazing.
I know.
We still have Melanie. How are you looking with time?
I'm good.
Good. Okay,
There's
perfect.
another question there. I think I know that person.
Who is it? Who is it there?
Come say hi.
What's up, fam? Happy Friday, everybody.
Hey.
Hi, Uncle Joe. How you doing? Hey, when am I going to come out to see your new deal there?
Oh, dude, whenever you guys are ready, man, I'm ready to come and show the world what we're doing up there, man.
Lovely, lovely. Yes, can't wait. Can't wait. Let's connect. Yes. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Melanie, what's up, hon? Good morning.
Good morning.
How you been?
Good.
Quick question. You just mentioned something about title insurance. When does that coverage gets voided when you are doing something within? How do I explain it? When does it get voided? When does it not come into effect if you thought you had title insurance and then somebody came off title?
That somebody coming off title. Now, between a husband and wife, that's kind of the exception. Okay, but other than that, somebody comes off title, it's voided for their half then. So you got half, maybe, I don't know, but basically transfers is what's going to void it. If you transfer to a trust is one way to not void it. Okay. So, but transferring out, like if you had two investors in title and one of them came off title, now you have, you only have, you would have coverage for your half of your half share, but that you took title with, but that's it. It's very complicated, but let me just explain that I think all of you can relate. It's an insurance company. They're going to look for any way to get out of paying a claim. And so they're going to look at it and go, was there anything, any transfer, anything that I can do to get out of paying this claim? Because that's what they do, because they're insurance companies. So everything has to be perfect on there. So again, if you know when you're closing with me that you're going to be doing a transfer, then let me know right up front so we can try to address it with the underwriter at that time.
Awesome. Thank you.
Now, I want to say just a few of my questions before we go is that foreclosures, right? So we are in the state of Georgia, right? For the state of Georgia. So doing deals here, what I love, I mean, obviously I live here, but foreclosures, and I know you're not a foreclosure attorney, but in Georgia, I just want to put out there for the members in the community out there, it's 30 days, right? We can foreclose on pretty much on properties where if we're lending on it, because there are a lot of people that lend, we have 30 days. And then I wanted to see your opinion also on like second lien positions. Like if you are not the first position holder, but you're the second position lien holder, can you foreclose on that property? And just want to know the process of it.
Yes, you can foreclose on the property, but you would have to, now you're in a second, whoever picks it up, they're in a second position still. To get in a first position, you would have to pay off the first. But yes, second positions are foreclosed on. You can foreclose on a second position, just like the homeowners association can foreclose. I know y'all have seen that before. So a homeowners association can foreclose, a second position can foreclose, but you only have what you got, so you're back into, if you foreclose on if you purchase where a homeowners association is foreclosed, then you're taking it subject to whatever was in front of you, the first, the second, whatever's there. If you're buying a second that was foreclosed on, then you're taking it subject to that first mortgage.
And the process of that in Georgia, the state of Georgia, is 30 days, right? It's a pretty fast process outside of other states.
It is. You have to send a certified letter. You have to advertise in the legal newspaper of the county. So it's the legal newspaper of the county of the property for 4 weeks before you can sell it on the courthouse steps. So yes, Georgia is very lender friendly. That's why our interest rates are probably less than maybe in New York, Joseph. So, but when we have non-judicial foreclosure, I know a lot of states such as New York have judicial foreclosure. We have non-judicial foreclosure, so you don't have to go to court to start a foreclosure proceeding.
Which we love that. We love that. That's why New York is best here, right, Mando? Awesome. No, that's good.
Joey has a question.
This is such a great topic because I'm right in the middle of a few of these. And I was in a fix and flip last year, and second position got misrecorded at the title company. Actually, you know what? Here's a good learning lesson because I'm right in the middle of something. So a Gator gave me a private loan, got recorded in first position, and we didn't catch it until the balloon was due for everybody, for hard money, for everyone involved. And the market shifted. Everybody kind of got screwed on a lot of deals, especially with flippers, because of the shifting of the market and just how fast everything happened last year. So second position got recorded first. It was for $35,000. He filed for foreclosure, and he did it in a great way, and I was on his side. But he did it at the end of December, where the auction, or at the beginning of December, nobody caught it because everyone's in the holidays. The second position lien, everybody was notified. It went to the auction steps the first week of January, when everyone's kind of sleeping and not really paying attention to auction sales. He got the house, and it wiped out the second position lien, which was $329,000.
Oh my goodness.
So he got the house for 35. I think where everybody kind of got probably confused at the tax sale too, because if I would have known this, I would have got a PML, another PML to give me like 40 grand, and then went ahead and done a quick sale on the market, because I knew where we were at, it just wasn't working. But anyways, make a long story short, he's got the house now. Everybody got wiped out. My question to Miss Esquire, where I'm at is the second position lien hard money lender filed with the title insurance company a claim for the misrecording. So how does that affect me as the person that was stuck in between the PML who got the house for 35 grand for a misrecording, and the hard money lender who's now filed title insurance? Where is my rights, I guess? Does the hard money lender still get to come after me after the insurance is claimed, or what's, I guess, legal rights on that? That was one question. That actually wasn't my question, but while we're talking about gators and liens and foreclosures, how does that work?
I'm not sure exactly what is your position in this.
Yeah,
I'm
I don't
the
understand.
borrower. I borrowed money from the first and second position
Oh,
lien holders. So now I was the flipper in the deal. So the PML got the house because of the misrecording in second, and then now the hard money lender, I haven't heard nothing. Everyone's gone radio silence, but the hard money lender I know has filed for a misrecording and negligence based on the title company. And they're
Exactly.
going,
And that's what happens. Again, it's an insurance company. They're not just going to pay out. So what happens on that is the title insurance company is going to go after the closing agent, whoever closed it. And, you know, if it was me, they're going to go after me. Georgia is what we call a race state. Whoever gets to the courthouse first wins. So if it's recorded out of order, and like happened in this case, yes, the second mortgage, unless it's said on there, unless the document said that this is intended to be subordinate to this first mortgage and they list it out. And in that case, if that were to have happened and it was recorded out of order, it would still be okay. Okay, because the intent was shown on the document that the second mortgage was supposed to be a second mortgage. But if it was silent and it didn't say anything, which is obviously what happened here, and it got filed first, then they win. They're in a first mortgage position. Had it happen in my own practice, and I mean, not that I filed out of order, but I had a closing that an attorney had filed out of order. And, you know, it's like, too bad, so sad. But what's going to happen is they're going to go after the closing attorney, and we have E&O insurance that covers that kind of thing. Obviously, we don't want to use our E&O coverage, but that's what it's there for. Now, are they going to come back after you? I can't answer that. I don't know what attorneys are going to do, what they're going to try to do. But like I said, that's just how Georgia works. It's whoever gets there first is the winner.
I mean, I'm on the side of the PML, and I was like, man, that's the best 1000x return I've ever seen for a gator. And but my next question is, if when you are in second position and you file that foreclosure, what are you so basically, let's just say this was me. I have a $35,000 lien. There's a hard money lender in first, and I go and I file foreclosure before the hard money lender. What does that get me? The rights to foreclose on the loan and go after the borrower in second position?
And if the second mortgage holder forecloses and you step in and buy that, is that what you're asking?
Give me 1 second. My phone is going nuts right now because, oh, geez. Yeah. So if you're in second position and you do the foreclosure for 30 grand and the first position is like 250, right? You're in the same fix and flip loan, but let's say it was filed accordingly. So I'm a PML now. the loan's gone past the balloon and I'm tired of, forgiving the person who borrowed it. I'm going to go ahead and file foreclosure. What does that foreclosure get me when I'm in second position for 30 grand, 35 grand? That just gives me once it's gone through.
It gets you owning the property and having a lien up the first position, but no second then.
Okay, so
Still
I would,
owe that
as
money.
the borrower, subordinate that to the second position lien. They now go into, like, they're now the holder of the lien, and they have to deal directly with the hard money lender, correct?
Yes.
Okay, that was a wealth of knowledge right there. Thank you so much.
And then for you, Joey, is there any way you can go after and try to see if you can get the property back? Because I've seen that happening before. I'm a private money lender. I do stuff, and I've seen second positions foreclose. Somebody foreclosed in second position, and the borrower is left like you did. And then I don't know how, but they found an attorney, and they are getting all of a sudden, I don't know what happened. I don't know all the details, but they're getting the property back from the second, from the foreclose. So everything goes back to normal as if you go back to the second position, right? The PML go back. The person who foreclosed in second position, she goes back to the, to be in a second lien position on a property, but the foreclose was like had never happened. But I don't know all the details. But if you wanna, if it's something that you wanna fight, I think there's a way, because I've seen people second position closing, not really, going
Well,
through.
it's not
right?
necessarily that they go back into a second position. They're now the owner of the property. Okay, they
No,
own the
but
property, but they own the property subject to the first.
okay, got it. Yes, but it was
Now,
so amazing because she
have to
thought
have
she had the
noticed the
property.
first, though.
Yeah, she was negotiating with the first with the first position already. She was getting a loan, I was working with her to get her a loan, and all of a sudden the borrower popped up and found an attorney, and I don't know if the foreclosure attorney missed a step or two. I'm not sure, but the borrower was able to get the property back. So
Wow.
I mean, bizarre. I never seen it, but guys, second position landing. I'm PML. I do a lot of stuff like that. It's not that easy, like it's just, there's a lot of stuff that I keep seeing over and over. So even here in Georgia, right? Like you think like, okay, the foreclosure is done, this is done. No, there's still things that can happen.
But is that through a lawsuit, like additional lawsuit, or how does that work? Like if you foreclose on your second lien position, you foreclose on property, so you get the property, right? But you still got to pay the first hard money.
You own the house, so you have to take care of the first.
But do that to reverse it? Is that I don't know. I'm just thinking out loud. So is that a lawsuit, additional lawsuit?
Yes, it's called list pendant. I don't know. I'm just saying what I've heard going through the process with
The
her.
list pendants is filed when they're going to file a lawsuit. That's you would file a list pendant saying you're going to file a lawsuit. So yeah, I don't know exactly what happened there, but
yeah, but just be careful. That's what I say. Like us as private money lenders, like a lot of things can happen. Just make sure you guys secure, make sure that your stuff is recorded, and it's a lot of implications. All right, guys. So it's 10:24. Thank you, Melanie. It's been great to spend this hour here with you and, listening to everybody's question, learning a lot.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I love helping investors. Again, that's kind of what I do. So if I can help any of you, just let me know.
How did you guys like it? Can we put some love there for Melanie in the chat, guys?
Yes, thank you so much. Melanie, can you put your information, your phone number's on here, but how can they reach you?
I did a couple of times in the notes there, but it's closings with an S at melaniemayer.com, closings at melaniemayer.com. The number under my face there is my cell phone number, which you're happy to text me or reach out to me on the cell. And my office number, I'm having to look it up, is 770-609-3090. 609-3090. And my office is in Alpharetta. but I do close anywhere in the state of Georgia.
And Melanie, what all can or do you do in terms of from attorney standpoint? Like we talked about liens, we talked about foreclosures, we talked about quick claim deeds, we talked about just different things. So can you kind of explain to us everything that you do or can do or we want to do?
I can close behind any of all of that, but I am a closing attorney. That's what I don't do the bankruptcies. I don't do the foreclosures. I don't do the probates. I do closings. But we're pulling the title and figuring out what we are dealing with or what all we're going to have to do to clean up the title. That's what I excel at. My closer and my title examiner are just awesome. My closer also pulled she was a title examiner too, and so we're very good at figuring out ways. If I tell you that there's no way we can get it closed, then there is no way to get it closed, because if there is, I'm going to figure it out.
Amazing. And Melanie, I just want to say, guys, for the group, what I love about you, Melanie, is that you are accessible. You're reachable. There's some they're just I've closed at many places, and just sometimes I have questions and I'm trying to get in touch and have I'm going through secretary after secretary after secretary, leaving emails. You answer your phone, you answer your text, which I really, really appreciate.
Okay, Pat, can I just, there's a confusion with the phone number. I was trying to write it down and then you came in. What is your phone number again, Melanie? It's 404 509
509
Okay.
8333.
Okay, you got it.
509 8333.
8333.
509 8333. Yes.
Okay. All right. It's all there. Joe, you have a question, comment, or?
Yes. All right, guys. So quickly, we have two amazing events coming up. One is going to be our special guest speaker, Christiane. We're going to be talking about co-living in the Hispanic market at our event called Nosotros, for all Hispanic investors, entrepreneurs wanting to get into real estate investing. Christiane and Macarena are going to be our special guest speakers. So guys, be on the lookout for that. If you guys don't speak Spanish, just bring your own bottle of tequila, and trust me, 15 minutes in, you'll be rocking and rolling with us, dancing some salsa, merengue, and some samba. And then our last one is going to be March 8th and 9th. We're going to be doing an investor tour on learning how to invest in manufactured homes. We're going to be visiting 4 of our projects on site and a manufactured dealership as well. And then March 9th, we're going to be doing indoor classroom underwriting. So we're going to underwrite, we're going to look for land, we're going to help you understand how to read certain reports like surveys and level 3 soil testing and so forth. So guys, reach out to me on social media, and we'll love to see you guys out there and kind of start tapping into different markets in real estate as everything is shifting.
Yes, thank you. Awesome.
All right, guys. Well, that's anything else, Chris? Anything else?
That's a wrap. Yeah, I put it there again. If people are interested to do the tour, join the co-living Facebook. If you guys want to, be in a group with other co-living investors. So,
Chris, I saw that you got a your one of your property that just went 100% packed or booked.
I know I got my 7th booking. I just got it now, and I was looking, guys. I mean, I gotta shut up. But when we do massive screening, so this lady, I was just checking her records. I mean, we're still gonna talk, we're still gonna go through our process, but everything is 5 stars. I love it. It's like for Melanie, this is my vanilla closing here, but when you see everything, all the reviews, this is awesome, guys. Get into this game, please. It's awesome, but see it as a business, okay? That's the only thing.
Thank you, Melanie. Thank you, everybody. Atlanta, you guys, next Friday, same time, same place. Please follow us on social media. And thank you so much, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a great weekend, guys.
All right, take us away, Chris. You are the
commander
there.